Welcome to Table Tennis Philosophy. Today we're talking about something that's going to be hard to talk about. It's going to be a little confusing. It's something that I'm probably going to be rambling and stammering with, and just bear with me because it's not an easy thing to pin down. What we're talking about is what sometimes athletes talk about is playing in the zone. What does that mean? Maybe you've experienced it in table tennis, maybe you've experienced it in some other sport, and it's the reason it's tough to talk about. It's somewhat elusive. Why do you sometimes play great and sometimes play terrible? Is that just your impression of how you're playing, or the day that you thought you were playing so great, were you just playing inferior players? Is that possible? I've seen that. I've had times when I was on top of the world. I thought I could beat anybody, and just turned out I could beat anybody in that room. And if I went to a different room, it might be a completely different story, and I'd be all depressed about it because I lost so badly. And clearly, the problem was that I wasn't playing well, where before I could just hit any shot I wanted to. So I'm exaggerating a little bit, and everybody understands how that works to some extent. But there is a place where you literally do feel like you're overperforming from what you normally do. And it's a great feeling. It's something you want to happen. I would imagine top athletes are in the zone most of the time, or have the ability to play their best far more than amateurs who, like I said, one day play great, one day not so great. And but I don't know, maybe even professionals have that feeling just the same way. It's just probably more of a relative thing. So here's if there's a key to playing in the zone, it's counterintuitive. It's tricky. It's not what you think it's going to be. I can guarantee you, if what you've decided to do is go out and play your next match, your next tournament, and you have predetermined that you will be in the zone and that you're going to play just way over your head, it's not going to happen. That's probably the one time that you can almost guarantee that it won't happen. And what a lot of players discover is that maybe they go to a tournament or go play on a certain day, and it's just like, okay, today's the day. I don't even care. I'm just going for the exercise. I'll worry more about playing well on the weekend. I don't care about playing well today because I'm using my old racket, and I'll have a brand new racket in 2 days, and that'll change everything. And that's the day when all of a sudden you win more than you lose. You're beating people you didn't used to beat before. Everything's working. What happened? The one day you decided not to try, all of a sudden that's when you played your best. And I don't have a full explanation for this. The times when I've felt like I was really playing in the zone, sometimes it did build on itself. Some success, I won my first match, I won my second match, I want to keep it rolling. And maybe gradually, after 3 or 4 successful matches, now I'm feeling really good, and now I finally get that tough match, and I've built up my confidence so much that perhaps I actually do play better than normal, get my absolute best performance in that one match. That can happen. But if you're trying to capture that ability to play at your absolute best, oddly enough, you need to quit trying. Not literally, you'd actually need to try your best when you're playing, but keeping it in perspective and thinking, I don't care what the score is, I don't care if I'm winning, I don't care if I'm losing, I don't care who's watching. I'm just playing, I'm executing these shots, and you really don't care. You just really don't give a damn. That's the way it is. And if there is a key to that, to playing your best, it might be that some attitude of, you know, I mean, you can rationalize it and say, you know, the rest of the world doesn't care if I'm struggling with my serves today. The rest of the world really doesn't care whether I won 3 matches and lost 1, or if I won 1 and lost 3. All this is things you care about, and you can think about that, but the key is not the rationalizing about the insignificance of your wins and losses. The key is going in with the attitude that you're relaxed, you're going to play your best, whatever happens, happens. And you will find perhaps the top player at your club has this attitude. And of course, it's easy for him because he's going to win almost all of his matches, perhaps. And so, yeah, naturally he would be relaxed. He seems like he's always in the zone. But again, this is all relative. It does depend on competition. And the same guy that looks extremely relaxed playing at your club might be very uptight in a tournament. I've seen that. I've seen some really good players who did not look comfortable in a different environment with tougher competition. The key is really maintain, stay relaxed. Don't try any gimmicks. Just really tell yourself going in, I'm going to play my best every single point, regardless of the outcome, and that's kind of the end of the story. Now, let's say you go into that tournament and you're in your first match and you're playing somebody that's rated 300 points below you, and they get the first 5 points, and you're down already in your first game of the first match of a tournament that you'd like to do well in. That's when it becomes a challenge. You've really got to say, do I really have this attitude? It's because it would be really easy to tighten up at that point and say, I'm playing badly, I'm just not playing well today. But if you can continue on and think about what you're doing, and just play your best match, the most relaxed match, and don't put any extra pressure on yourself because somebody else has run up the score on you, or because you feel like they're underrated, or whatever the distractions are. You're just there to play table tennis, and you're there to play table tennis at your best. The reason this playing in the zone is elusive is because it may not, you may lose that first match, and now you got a second match to play, but maybe you've been in tournaments where all of a sudden things turned very, very quickly, and all of a sudden you started having some success. It can happen. You can't force playing in the zone. It's not going to happen. And as long as you are putting pressure on yourself and thinking about the score and thinking about your performance and your rating and how bad your last shot was and all of those types of things, playing your best will be increasingly difficult. And I find it a fascinating subject because it's not just about athletic ability. You can play in the zone whether you're the best player in the world or the worst. It's more of a mental, emotional, in fact, holistic approach to sports that is not necessarily something that will be measured by the number of trophies you have, but you would know how well you played based on what your experience was during that particular match, game, tournament. So, like I said, it's not something that is just about table tennis. This is something that is going to require a complete different approach to competition, maybe different approach to a lot of things in life. I first came upon this when I was fairly young, involved in sports and involved in some other activities where I was putting tremendous amount of pressure on myself. And eventually, after a lot of getting frustrated, praying, and thinking, and trying to rethink what my philosophy on life was, I discovered that quite often the key to whatever the problem was completely letting go of it. And I would even go as far as if you have a belief in God, and letting God take care of those situations. So I don't think you have to. I think you could play in the zone and still be an atheist. I don't think that's a belief in God is probably not mandatory on this. It just seemed like that, at least my initial experiences tend to gravitate that way. So, all right, I said it'd be tough to talk about. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's a fantastic experience when you have those moments, and like I said, it usually requires reordering your priorities and your approach to competition. So, hope you'll play in the zone often. Hope you found this one interesting. It's a little different, but welcome your comments. The better your comments, the better your content. That's my little motto here. All right, hope to see you next time. Thanks a lot.